if you don't know about African Ancestry, we are the pioneers of genetic ancestry tracing for Black people all around the world. And it is our mission to help Black people transform the way we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. And we do that through DNA. Our DNA test came before most of the other companies in the industry, and our DNA test is different than the other companies in the industry. And so that's what we've been doing for 20 years. We've been helping people find out not that they're African, not that they're some percentage West African, not that they got percentages from all these different regions of West Africa, but the present day African country and ethnic group or tribe. That's what we do. And we think that's important because it helps us to get a sense of where our people were before the transatlantic slave trade. It helps us understand the customs, the traditions, the values, the cultural practices that inform our families. And then, as if that's not enough, we're the only company that destroys DNA. So we're the only company that does not sell or share our customers' DNA. And that's important because as the only Black-owned company in the industry, we understand that it is important to us as a community, as individuals, how our genetic material is handled. And so that's who we are in a nutshell. You can check us out on our site, on our IG page, and see more about who we are and what we're about. But today I have a special guest. Her name is Tulani Bridgewater Kowalski. That's a mouthful. And I've invited her on. She's been an African Ancestry member since 2016. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to see you.
Thank you. I'm happy to see you too. Now, for those of you all who are just meeting Tulani for the first time, she is an artist manager. She is a producer. She is a writer. She comes from one of the most creative families that I've ever met face to face. She is also the daughter of the jazz legend Dee Bridgewater. And so, Tulani, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. You know, I'm thrilled to talk to you any chance I can.
It's been a minute too. I think we talked during the pandemic.
Yeah.
When that was. So let's get right into your African ancestry experience. Like I told the people before I brought you on, you've been a member of our family since 2016. And one of the reasons why I wanted you to be my guest today is because I think you had one of the more unique reactions to the information in terms of reveals that I've done. And also, you didn't take the test. So It's important that people know that our test traces the ancestry of an entire lineage. So your mother, Dee Bridgewater, took the test. That means the results are the same for all of her children, you included. When you all have children, her brothers and sisters, her nieces and nephews, all of you all share this result. So first of all, let's talk about how you found out your ancestry. Can you explain that, describe that to the people?
Absolutely. So we knew that our mom was going to take the ancestry, you know, and do the DNA test and that she was going to get the results. And she had a wonderful conversation with you. And it was decided that the reveal was going to be done in New York. And my sister and my brother were going to be there, and I was going to be there. And it was going to be after her performance at the Blue Note Jazz Club, which is an historic jazz club in New York City. So we have all assembled. And
wait, let me ask you something right there. So when she told you that she was going to take an African ancestry test, what was your reaction?
Well, I was, first of all, I was surprised because I didn't know that there was one specific for African ancestry. So to learn about that was incredible. My dad had done like one of the other companies, and it gave him a lot of information, but it was really imprecise, and it really focused on European ancestry. So, you know, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is the part that we didn't get, you know, with my dad. So I was thrilled about it. I read up a little bit on it. And then when we, when you came and met us, there was a camera crew, there was an audience because it was after a show. And you came up on stage and you read the reveal. And I remember I was like looking down from the stairs because there's like upstairs going to the backstage dressing room areas. And I kind of fell out laughing when you announced our ancestry. Number one, it was like amazing and incredible, but also we're Fulani. And I was like, that feels really on the nose, being named Tulani, of the Fulani. So I just kind of immediately was like, come on. But, after that initial surprise, I remember looking at my siblings and we were like, when you feel like something amazing and monumental just happened and you're not sure kind of what the ripple effect of that's going to be, but in the moment you're like, oh, this is really significant. And it was one of the, my siblings were all over the world. So it was also one of the few times when we were all together with our mom, and it was just a beautiful moment. And I remember we took pictures together and it was like, oh, this is great. And then months later, well, actually, I remember when I got the certificate, because I don't know if people know, you actually get a certificate, almost like a diploma. So I got that certificate and I remember looking at it and it started to kind of sink in. Then I was like, wait a minute, I know I have an answer now, because, if you're African American, if you're not very fortunate, you just don't know. You have word of mouth, you have hints, you might have some family folklore, but it was like, oh no, we definitively know. And then I was like, well, but who are the Fulani? Who are these people? And who are these people that I have such an obvious, really strong genetic tie to? And it just opened up this amazing world of like introspection and exploration. It was beautiful.
And I was going to ask so that was in 2016. So here we are now at the end of 2023. As you reflect on your Fulani ancestry, and I want to be clear, we traced your maternal ancestry to the Fulani people living in Nigeria today, present day Nigeria, which is different from those living in Cameroon or Mali or Senegal, excuse me, in terms of a genetic connection.
Yeah.
But as you've gone through these 7 years, has there been any experience or any thoughts you've had about getting that information? Have you used it in any way?
Absolutely. So the first thing is that I shared it with my children, and they were, they were flabbergasted. And you announced my name, which sounds like an international law firm, but my husband is Polish. He's Polish American with a lot of English and Irish. And so I was like, his family can trace everything. And now I felt like, oh, I can kind of add this in. And watching my kids when they would do the school projects about where their people came from, and they were able to like put Nigeria and put Fulani down, and the sense of pride that it kind of brought them. But also we were fortunate to travel this past summer, and we were in Holland. And I'll not forget this because a lot of my dad's side of the family are Dutch, amongst a whole lot of other things. But I was standing there in front of a painting, and it was showing a depiction of Africa through the eyes of colonists. And it was a gorgeous painting. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having a totally different relationship with this painting because these were my people that they're depicting. And I got to give it to the Dutch, the descriptions that they give under the painting was pretty honest, you know what I mean? And so, but I remember standing in this, incredible Rijksmuseum and going like, I'm like actually seeing a historic representation of my ancestry in a way that I could never have concretely related to. And I started to just kind of have a different sense of place. And I think part of it also is that I feel like I belong. I have kind of like a home within myself that this process gave to me that I didn't really have before. So I'd say it's really impacted how I view myself, in the world, the gift I can give to my kids. It's been beautiful. It's been really meaningful.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I remember very distinctly after the reveal. Well, first of all, during the reveal, your mother just hollered. She was like, Tulani, we have the best shot of her just like mouth wide open, eyes wide open, just in shock. But I remember distinctly afterwards, I think we had champagne and we did a toast, and you gave me the warmest hug. I think that it's actually making me tear up right now. You gave me the warmest hug, and you said, this really helps me feel like I belong in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I thank you for being here, because that's the reason. Look at me all tearing up. I'm not even doing a reveal and I'm tearing up. You know, that's when I cry. But I think it's important for people to hear your story as a mother, as a Black woman who has a Polish husband, you know, as a daughter, as a sister. I thank you so much. What's going on with Bridgewater Artists?
Oh, I'm so thrilled. We're doing wonderful things. I actually was just talking to one of my clients, a wonderful all women band called Night Beauty. And so we're working on, ironically, a tour date in Poland that I'm working on for them. But they're amazing because they're across the African diaspora as well. And then I'm working with my mom. We're getting ready to go into the studio and record another album and tour dates. And so, and then we have like exciting news that's going to be coming for her in January, and my sister is going to be coming in for that. So things are going really, really well. I'm really, really happy. And then I wrote a book. I have a book that's going to come out next year.
Wait a minute. So what is your book?
It's fiction, but it draws on a lot of actually this. It's about belonging and feeling like you belong with yourself. Because I got to tell you, for anybody who's on the fence, especially if you don't have access to your family history, something like this, it resonates in your bones and in your cells and in your soul in a way that you feel it. It's hard to put it into words, but I feel forever changed for knowing this. So I'm just grateful you exist and you're doing this work. I cannot tell you how much it means to me.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And you have to let us know when you are on your book tour. Our business besties are mahoganybooks.com, Ramunda and Derek Young over at Mahogany Books. So maybe we can get you to DC and do a book talk there. But we would love to help promote that, because that's what we're about. We are family.
Yes.
You are part of our family. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me this afternoon, Tulani. I appreciate it.
You know, all you have to do is ask me and I'll show up wherever and whatever.
Sounds good. Well, have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking.
Take care.
Bye.
So you all, this is it. I wanted you to hear from Tulani's experience, from her perspective, how African ancestry has impacted her, and we can do the same for you. So come on over to African. Actually, you're here. So go to the link in the bio to get information about how you can purchase a test kit. We're happy to answer your questions, and we're going to be doing this all through the holidays. So tomorrow we'll be here with the actress and comedian and writer and motivator and all these multi-hyphenate people I have in the African ancestry family. Kim Coles will be here, and she's going to be talking about her experience. And then we're going to round the week out with Isaiah Washington. He is probably among our first celebrities to take the test. And so he's an OG from 2005. So I hope you all will join us back here tomorrow and have a great rest of your day. Take care.
I wanna know ya, Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, gotta let me show ya, Nigeria, Bioko Island, Liberia.